Dear students, last class we were discussing about hybridization. So different types of hybridization we have completed: SP, SP2, SP3, SP3D, SP3D2. So for all these type of hybridization, we have seen examples. Next, two more molecules we are going to discuss. What about the hybridization and the bonding in these molecules? So consider ethylene. The common name is ethylene, EUPAC name is ethene. So we are going to find what type of hybridization is possible here and what will be the bonding in these molecules. And we know the formula for ethylene, C2H4. This is molecular formula. Structural formula is usually written as CH2 double bond CH2. So in organic reactions, we usually write the formula of ethylene like this. So this is called ethene or ethylene. So we have to explain. The bonding should be explained based on hybridization. So first, we take electronic configuration for the atoms. There are two carbon atoms in the molecule. So take both the carbon atoms. Atomic number of carbon is 6, and we know the electronic configuration in ground state: 1s2, 2s2, 2px1, 2py1. So this is the ground state electronic configuration of carbon. For the second carbon also same process. So second carbon 1s2, 2s2, 2px1, 2py1. So this is ground state configuration of carbon. Now, if hydrogen atoms are approaching the carbon, definitely there will be excitation of electron, as we studied in the previous classes. If other atoms are approaching these carbon atoms, to make a covalent bond, there will be excitation of electrons from one orbital into another orbital, right? So, this is ground state electronic configuration. We take excited state electronic configuration. 1s2, 2s1, 2px1, 2py1, 2pz1. So you can observe the jumping of an electron from 2s orbital into 2pz orbital. Right? So in order to have hybridized orbital formation, there is excitation of electron. So energy of a carbon is increased due to approaching of other atoms. Energy has slightly increased. So this is excited state configuration of carbon. Now you can observe 4 orbitals with a single electron. So in the ground state, only 2 orbitals has single electron, 2px as well as 2py. At excited state, now 4 atomic orbitals are having single electron. They are 2s, 2px, 2py and 2pz. So hybridization is mainly based on how much other atoms are going to make bond with this carbon. Based on that only, there will be hybridization process. So in ethylene molecule, there are 2 carbon atoms. For both the carbon atoms, we have written ground state electronic configuration. If other atoms are approaching this carbon, energy will be increased. Electrons are excited from one orbital into another orbital. This is excited state configuration of first carbon. The same will be repeated for the second carbon atom also. Excited state configuration of second carbon is 1s2, 2s1, 2px1, 2py1, 2pz1. So in this case, the hybridization will be sp2. Hybridization will be sp2. So 2s orbital, 2px orbital and 2py orbital with a single electrons, they are intermixing together to produce sp2 hybridized orbital. How much sp2 hybridized orbital will be found? As we studied in valence bond theory and hybridization concept, number of hybridized orbital formed will be equal to the number of atomic orbitals combined. So 3 atomic orbitals of same atom carbon have combined together to produce equivalent new orbital called the hybridized orbital. So all these are new orbitals. So due to hybridization process, we have obtained hybridized orbitals sp2. three atomic orbitals have combined together to produce three equivalent sp2 hybridized orbital with a single electron. So what is the necessary condition for overlapping? For overlapping, that means for making a bond, a single electron is essential. It may be atomic orbital or hybridized orbital. If the orbital has a single electron, there will be overlapping to make a covalent bond. So we have taken first carbon, electronic configuration in ground state and excited state I have written. From the configuration we know that three atomic orbitals of carbon are intermixing together to produce three sp2 hybridized orbital with a single electron. From these orbitals with a single electron, we infer that three covalent bond will be possible. So carbon can make three covalent bond due to mutual overlapping. The same is applicable for the next carbon atom also. So, three atomic orbitals combined together to produce three sp2 hybridized orbital with a single electron. Now both the carbon atoms are having similar arrangement, similar hybridization, hybridized orbital with a single electron. Now we are going to explain how there is overlapping of orbitals to make a covalent bond. So due to covalent bond only, these six atoms are existing as a molecule. Two carbon atoms and four hydrogen atoms have combined together due to covalent bond and which is existing as a molecule. So for this existence of a molecule or for making a covalent bond, overlapping is must. How the orbitals are involving in overlapping, that should be explained. So for explaining any molecule, we have to consider first what? Hybridization. What is the ground state and excited state configuration? What will be the possible hybridization? Then next step will be the overlapping of orbitals. So overlapping will takes place between the atomic orbitals or hybridized orbitals. We consider sp2 hybridized orbitals, isn't it? So carbon has sp2 hybridized orbital for overlapping. So consider first carbon. It has three sp2 hybridized orbital. This is the structure of three sp2 hybridized orbital, and each sp2 hybridized orbital has what? Single electron, isn't it? The same way, second carbon also. Second carbon also has three sp2 hybridized orbital with a single electron. Then there will be mutual overlapping. If orbital with a single electron present, overlapping will take place to make a covalent bond, right? So carbon sp2 hybridized orbital of first carbon is overlapping with sp2 hybridized orbital of second carbon. So they are making sigma type of covalent bond. So due to mutual overlapping between the sp2 hybridized orbital of both the carbon atoms, the overlapping is a head-on or axial or linear overlapping. So this produces a sigma type of covalent bond. Next, consider hydrogen. Atomic number of hydrogen is 1. Electronic configuration of hydrogen is 1s1. So 1s orbital of hydrogen has a single electron. Directly 1s orbital will involve in overlapping. So when we take sp2 hybridized orbital of each carbon, they are having single electron, right? So with this sp2 hybridized orbital of first carbon, 1s orbital will involve in overlapping. Each 1s orbital has a single electron. So due to overlapping, there is a formation of a sigma type of covalent bond, right? So out of 3 sp2 hybridized orbital, one sp2 hybridized orbital of first carbon is overlapped with sp2 hybridized orbital of second carbon. Remaining one sp2 hybridized orbital is overlapped with 1s orbital of hydrogen. So this is also sigma type of covalent bond. Next, one more hydrogen. 1s orbital of hydrogen with a single electron is mutually overlapping with sp2 hybridized orbital of first carbon. So one more sigma type of covalent bond. So these two are 1s orbital of hydrogen atoms, isn't it? So this is 1s orbital. This is sp2 hybridized orbital. This is sp2 hybridized orbital. So first carbon have made 3 covalent bonds, right? So 3 sigma type of covalent bonds. Next one, second carbon has 3 sp2 hybridized orbital with a single electron. 2 more hydrogen atoms are going to combine with second carbon. So this is 1s orbital of hydrogen, 1s orbital of hydrogen. So this carbon is also making sigma type of covalent bond with carbon atoms, right? So we have explained sigma bond formation. So carbon is an element with atomic number 6, ground state electronic configuration 1s to 2s2, 2px1, 2py1, excited state configuration 1s to 2s2, 2p, 1s to 2s1, 2px1, 2py1, 2pz1. sp2 hybridization is possible. So both the carbon atoms are having sp2 hybridized orbital, and each sp2 hybridized orbital is involving overlapping. Due to head-on overlapping between the sp2 hybridized orbital of both the carbon atoms, we get a sigma bond. Then remaining 2 sp2 hybridized orbital of both the carbon atoms are overlapping with 1s orbital of hydrogen atoms. So there are 4 covalent bonds with the hydrogen atoms. Each carbon is making a 2 sigma type of covalent bond with 2 carbon atoms. So overall, 4 hydrogen atoms are bonded with carbon atoms by a single covalent bond. The bond is a sigma type of bonding. Next, observe the structure, whether they are following octet rule or not. So hydrogen alone is obeying the octet rule. Around the hydrogen, 2 electrons present. For each covalent bond, 2 electrons. Around each hydrogen, 2 electrons present. So all the 4 hydrogen atoms are stabilized. They are following the octet rule. Octet means duet in case of hydrogen. Now what about carbon? Around each carbon there are only 6 electrons, 2, 4, 6. So both the carbon atoms are not obeying the octet rule. So that there should be a formation of one more bond. The one more covalent bond can be formed by sidewise overlapping of unhybridized orbital. So in case of carbon, 2s1, 2px1, 2py1, all these orbitals are involved in hybridization. The only one orbital which is not involved in hybridization, which is what? 2pz with a single electron. Okay. So the 2pz orbital of both the carbon are present as unhybridized orbital with a single electron. So one more bond can be formed due to mutual overlapping of these orbitals. So when we observe the structure, for sp2, what will be the predicted geometry? We already studied in valence bond theory. For sp2 hybridization, a usual structure will be trigonal planar. So all these atoms will be in a plane. That means this unhybridized orbital will be perpendicular to the plane, as we explained in boron trifluoride, right? So boron trifluoride structure we explained already. All the 4 atoms will be in a plane. The 2pz orbital will be perpendicular to the plane. The same concept is applicable for ethylene also. All these atoms will be in a plane. The unhybridized 2pz orbital of both the carbon atoms are perpendicular to the plane. So we have unhybridized orbital for both the carbon atoms, 2pz, which is perpendicular to the plane. So these orbitals are not involving in direct or head-on overlapping. They are involving in sidewise overlapping. Okay. So due to sidewise overlapping, there is a formation of pi bond. this is head-on overlapping, sigma bond, but this is sidewise or lateral overlapping. So a bond is formed between carbon and carbon. This is belonging to what type of pi bond. So this is the geometry of ethylene or ethene molecule. Totally we have 5 sigma bond, 1 pi bond. Okay. So 5 more questions. Next we take acetylene, CH, triple bond CH. This is general structure. Okay. Acetylene, molecular formula will be written as C2H2. The structural formula will be usually written as CH triple bond CH. So now we are going to explain the structure of acetylene here. So as usual, 2 carbon atoms with atomic number 6, ground state electronic configuration 1s2, 2s2, 2px1, 2py1. For both the carbon atoms, similar configuration. What is excited state configuration? If other atoms are approaching the carbon, one electron will be jumped from 2s orbital into 2pz. So 1s2, 2s1, 2px1, 2py1, 2pz1. Right. So if other atoms are approaching the carbon, electron will be excited from one orbital into another orbital. So this is excited state configuration. Out of 4 atomic orbitals with a single electron, only 2 atomic orbitals are intermixing together to produce a new orbital. So we have 4 atomic orbitals with a single electron, 2s, 2px, 2py, 2pz, both the carbon atoms. Only 2 atomic orbitals of carbon atoms are intermixing together to produce new orbital called sp hybridized orbital, because one s and one p orbital intermix together. So both sp hybridized orbital are having single electron. So due to combining of one s and one p orbital, we are getting sp hybridized orbital with a single electron. So what are the unhybridized orbitals? 2py, 2pz. Both the carbon atoms are having 2 unhybridized orbitals. This is what? sp hybridized orbital of first carbon will have a single electron, right? So 2 sp hybridized orbital are having 2 single electrons. The same way, second carbon also. Right? Each sp hybridized orbital has a single electron for overlapping. So we have to explain bonding here. First carbon, second carbon. So due to mutual overlapping between sp orbital of both the hydrogen atoms, sorry, both carbon atoms. So this is 2 sp hybridized orbital of first carbon, 2 sp hybridized orbital of second carbon. Due to head-on overlapping or axial overlapping or linear overlapping, they are making a sigma type of covalent bond. So between the carbon atoms, due to mutual overlapping between the sp hybridized orbitals in a head-on overlapping, we get a sigma type of bond. Next, hydrogen has an electron in 1s orbital. So sp hybridized orbital is overlapping with 1s orbital of hydrogen. So carbon, sp hybridized orbital of carbon is overlapping with 1s orbital of hydrogen in a head-on way. So one more sigma type of covalent bond formed. Next, sp hybridized orbital of second carbon also overlapped with 1s orbital of hydrogen. So one more sigma type of bond formed between carbon and hydrogen. Now when you observe the structure is not obeying the octet rule. isn't it? Hydrogen has 2 electrons around it, but carbon has only 4 electrons. This carbon has 4 electrons, 2 plus 2, 4. The same way, this carbon has 4 electrons around it. So both the carbon atoms are not obeying the octet rule. So there should be a formation of multiple bond. Okay, so now overlapping of hybridized orbital with 1s orbital of hydrogen over. Next, to attain the stability, there will be multiple bond formation that will be explained based on unhybridized orbital. So what are the unhybridized orbitals in carbon? 2py and 2pz. Right. So take 2py, orbital of first carbon with a single electron, 2py, orbital of second carbon with a single electron. So they are overlapping in a sidewise manner. So this is called a lateral overlapping. So due to lateral overlapping, a pi bond is formed between carbon atoms. Okay. So unhybridized orbital is 2py. And we have one more unhybridized orbital in carbon. What is it? It's called 2pz, isn't it? So we have one more unhybridized orbital. It's called a 2pz. And both unhybridized orbital are having single electron. This will also involve in overlapping. So this is sidewise overlapping. Due to that, one more covalent bond is formed. So due to sp-sp overlapping between the carbon atoms, we get a sigma bond. Due to sidewise overlapping between the 2py and 2pz orbitals, we have obtained 2 pi bond. So between the carbon atoms, we have a triple bond. So this is the structure of acetylene molecule. So we have completed different molecules like beryllium chloride, boron trifluoride, methane molecule, phosphorus pentachloride, sulfur hexafluoride, ethylene and acetylene. So all these molecules we have completed. So out of these, any one will be coming as 5 mark in exam. Right? So we have completed valence bond theory. Right? So first theory, Lewis theory, based on the symbol and valence electrons, we have written a structure for a molecule. Right? For an atom as well as molecule, we have drawn Lewis dot structures. Then valence bond theory, based on valence bond theory, we can predict the structure. Then based on pair of electron, structure may be changed. So that will be discussed in VSEPR theory. So valence cell electron pair repulsion theory explains the distortion in the geometry of a molecule due to pair of electrons. Right? So due to repulsion between the pair of electrons, the expected geometry will be distorted. So that is called the VSEPR theory. Now we move into the new theory called molecular orbital theory. Okay. So simply we call this as MOT, like VBT. VBT expands valence bond theory. In the same manner, molecular orbital theory will be called as MOT. Why we have to go for molecular orbital theory? That is a basic question. So already we have Lewis theory as well as valence bond theory. We explain the structure of a molecule. Why we have to move into the another theory, molecular orbital theory? For this, we may consider oxygen. Right? So when oxygen is considered, we may draw the structure using the Lewis as well as valence bond theory. We may write or draw the structure of oxygen molecule. So based on the structure, we come to a conclusion that oxygen is a diamagnetic substance. So a substance can be called as paramagnetic and diamagnetic based on electronic arrangement. So a magnetic property is of two types, or a substance will be called as paramagnetic as well as diamagnetic. based on the arrangement of electron in the molecule. So a paramagnetic substance means the substance will have a single electron or unpaired electron. If a molecule with an unpaired electron means we call them as paramagnetic in nature. Usually a paramagnetic substance will be attracted by the magnet. Okay. So when a substance is kept in a magnetic field, it will be attracted by the magnet because single electron present. Okay. So if two electrons present means magnetic moment will be zero. We already discussed. So dipole moment value will be zero for molecule with a paired electron. So when we take a substance, a single electron, that means unpaired electron is present means it will have a magnetic moment. So due to spinning of the electron, it will be attracted by the external magnetic field. So we call the substance as magnetic field. So if you have unpaired electron in a molecule, the molecule will be generally called as paramagnetic. If a molecule with full of paired electron means mutually the spin will cancel. One electron will spin in clockwise direction, another electron will spin in anti-clockwise direction. So mutually they are cancelling each other. Magnetic moment will be zero. So we call the substance as diamagnetic. Okay. So paramagnetic substance will be attracted by the external magnetic field. In diamagnetic substance, two electrons will spin in opposite direction. So due to paired electronic arrangement, magnetic moment will be zero. External field or magnet will not attract this substance. So from the two basic theories, Lewis theory and the valence bond theory, we have drawn the structure of oxygen molecule O2. You observe the electronic arrangement. All the electrons are present in the form of paired one, right? So 4 electrons present as two bonded pair of electrons. So here 2 bonded pair. Remaining electrons are present as lone pair of electrons. So all the electrons are present in the form of paired one. So we assume that this will be a diamagnetic substance. So based on valence bond theory and Lewis theory, we assume that oxygen molecule is diamagnetic in nature, but practically oxygen is a paramagnetic substance, right? So this is the major drawback of valence bond theory and Lewis theory. The magnetic property is not properly explained in valence bond theory. Okay. So when you take oxygen in liquid form, liquid oxygen will be taken, it will have paramagnetic nature. Single electron will be there, so it will be attracted by the external field or a magnet. So the major aim of molecular orbital theory is to explain magnetic property, whether the molecule is paramagnetic or diamagnetic. So that will be explained in MOT. So this is a 5-mark question. Write the postulates of or assumptions of molecular orbital theory. First one, atomic orbitals are combining together to produce a new orbital called a molecular orbital. So when atomic orbitals are combining together, they are producing new orbital called a molecular orbital. This is first postulate. What we studied in a hybridization, two atomic orbitals are combining, they are producing a covalent bond. If it is a hybridization, a hybridized orbital will be formed. But here, two atomic orbitals of different atom, not same atom. In hybridization, what happens? Atomic orbital of same atom will intermix together. But here, atomic orbitals of different atoms are combining. They are producing a new orbital called molecular orbital. Okay. Then point number 2. The shape of molecular orbital formed will be equal to the shape of atomic orbital combined. So to take shape of molecular orbital, so which is based on shape of atomic orbital. This is second postulate. What type of orbitals are joining together to produce molecular orbital? They are deciding the shape of molecular orbital. Third postulate. the number of molecular orbitals formed will be equal to the number of atomic orbitals combined, like a hybridization concept. Right? So, number of molecular orbitals formed is nothing but what? Number of atomic orbitals combined. Then fourth one. So, in the formation of molecular orbital, we get two type of orbital. In the formation of molecular orbital, there are two type of molecular orbital. One is called the bonding molecular orbital. Okay? So simply we call this as BMO. Another one is anti-bonding molecular orbital. So, when atomic orbitals of different atoms are joining together, it produces a new orbital called a molecular orbital. The molecular orbital is of two types, bonding as well as anti-bonding. The bonding orbital will have less energy than the atomic orbital. Comparing the energy of atomic orbital, bonding molecular orbital will have a lower energy. Then anti-bonding molecular orbital will have more energy than the atomic orbital. So easily we can remind that bonding will have low energy, anti-bonding will have more energy than the atomic orbitals. And we have a notations. What are the notations for bonding molecular orbital? We can use sigma, pi, delta. So these are the notations. Bonding molecular orbitals can be denoted by these symbols. Anti-bonding molecular orbitals can be denoted by sigma star, pi star, delta star. Okay. So these are the notations. Okay. So third point, molecular orbital will be based on combination of atomic orbitals. Number of molecular orbital formed will be equal to the number of atomic orbitals combined. Molecular orbital is of two types, bonding and anti-bonding. They are denoted by the symbols pi, sigma, pi, delta for bonding, sigma star, pi star, delta star for anti-bonding. Then fourth one, filling of electron in molecular orbital. How the electrons are filled. So in atomic orbitals, electrons are filled like 1s, 2s, 2p. So we have an order. First 2 electrons will occupy 1s orbital. Next 2 electrons will occupy 2s orbital. Then 6 electrons will occupy 2p orbital. So like that we have an order, isn't it? So first 2 electrons will occupy 1s. Remaining 2 electrons will occupy 2s. Then 6 electrons will occupy 2p. 2 electrons will occupy 3s. Then 6 electrons will occupy 3p. Like that we have an order. So this is the electronic arrangement or configuration, how the electrons are filled in the orbital. So this is atomic orbital. The same will be applicable for molecular orbital. As I told, molecular orbital is of two types, bonding and anti-bonding. The filling order of orbital will be the same like arrangement of electron in the ordinary orbitals. So for the filling of electrons, we have some basic rules which we will study in atomic structure lesson. There are some principles and the rules called Afbah principle. So Afbah principle deals with increasing order of energy of orbital. So which deals with which orbital has low energy, which orbital has higher energy. The orbital with least energy is 1s. Then comparing 1s, 2s has more energy. Comparing 2s, 2p has more energy. So energy will be dealt by Afbah principle. So according to Afbah principle, electrons will be arranged in the increasing order of orbital. First electron will occupy lower energy orbital, then electron will fill orbital with higher energy. So this is the filling of electrons in the orbital. So Afbah principle says electrons are filling in the increasing order of energy of orbital. Next, Pauli exclusion principle. So this is saying that maximum 2 electrons will be present in an orbital, right? So we place maximum 2 electron, 2px2, 2py2, 2pz2. So according to Pauli exclusion principle, maximum 2 electrons can be present in an orbital and both the electrons will spin in opposite direction. When you take 1s orbital, maximum 2 electrons can be present and both the electrons will spin in opposite direction. One electron will spin in clockwise, another electron will spin in anti-clockwise direction. So this is Pauli exclusion principle. The same is applicable for the electrons filling in molecular orbital also. For one molecular orbital, maximum 2 electron with opposite spinning. Then Kunz rule. So when we take the degenerate orbitals, for example, this is 2px, 2py, 2pz. So 2p orbital is of 3 types: 2px, 2py, 2pz. 6 electrons will be filled in p orbital. So maximum 6 electrons can be placed in p orbital. How the 6 electrons will be placed? According to Hund's rule, first orbital will be occupied by electrons singly. First, one electron will occupy the orbital, then only pairing will take place. So first electron, second electron, third electron, fourth electron, fifth electron, sixth electron. So this is the filling order of electron in degenerate orbitals. This is called the Hund's rule. Okay. In the other lessons we will discuss in detail. Just a reminder, what are the 3 principles or rules? So according to Hund's rule, in degenerate orbitals, electrons will first occupy the orbital singly, then pairing takes place because pairing needs more energy. If 2 same charged electrons are placed in an orbital, means there will be repulsion. Between the electron, repulsion will be there. The repulsion should be overcome. So that we need energy. Pairing always need energy. Okay. So we have some basic principles for filling of electron in the orbitals. So these are the principles which are useful to fill the electrons in the atomic orbital. The same principle is applicable for molecular orbital also. When electrons are filled in molecular orbital, it has to fill the lower energy orbital first, then higher energy orbital. Then maximum 2 electron only should be in molecular orbital. Then when degenerate molecular orbital is filled, first molecular orbital will be filled by single electron. Then only pairing will be taking place. So this is point number 4. Point number 5, important. 2 more questions. Bond order. So this is a 2 more question. Mathematically, this is represented as Nb minus Na by 2. The definition is half the difference between number of electrons in bonding molecular orbital and the number of electrons in anti-bonding molecular orbital. Just to take down in your book, right? So definition is not given. To take down the difference in number of electrons in bonding molecular orbital and number of electrons in anti-bonding molecular orbital. So the definition is not given in your book. So this is given in previous year book. Right? So bond order means simply we have to know it represents how much bond present between the atoms. So in the covalent bond we studied in valence bond theory we studied bond parameters. Bond parameters are applicable for covalent bond. So number of covalent bonds can be easily studied based on bond order value, isn't it? So bond order simply represents the number of bond between the atoms for covalent bond. The same concept we are going to explain in MOT also. In molecular orbital theory also, bond order represents the number of bonds. Here we should not say this is covalent bond. there is a bond between the two atoms, right? So we assume that due to the formation of molecular orbital also covalent bond formed, right? So according to molecular orbital theory, the bond order represents number of covalent bond formed between two atoms in a molecule. Nb represents number of electrons in bonding molecular orbital and number of electrons in antibonding molecular orbital. Half the difference between number of electrons in bonding molecular orbital and number of electrons in anti-bonding molecular orbital. It's called the bond order. A public. Two more questions. Okay. So there are 5 major postulates or assumptions in molecular orbital theory. Number 1, atomic orbitals are combining together to produce a new orbital called molecular orbital. Point number 2, shape of molecular orbital will be determined by shape of atomic orbital combined. Third point, molecular orbital will be equal to number of atomic orbitals. So how much molecular orbitals formed will be equal to the number of atomic orbitals combined. In molecular orbital, 2 types are there, bonding and anti-bonding. Bonding molecular orbital will have a lower energy, which will be represented by sigma, pi and delta. Anti-bonding molecular orbital will have higher energy, will be represented by sigma star, pi star and delta star. Then fourth point, in the filling of electrons in molecular orbital, we have to follow the same basic principles. Afbauer principle, Pauli exclusion principle and Hund's rule. Point number 5, bond order represents number of covalent bonds between the atoms in a molecule. Generally, bond order is nothing but number of bonds present between the atoms in a molecule. Now in molecular orbital theory, we are calculating this number of bonds based on how much electrons present in bonding and anti-bonding molecular orbital. So difference in number of electrons in bonding and anti-bonding molecular orbital is called bond order. Okay.